Barak, Yahweh, Alam, Shalom, righteous family. Welcome back to TRU-TALK. Responsibility, accountability, blaming, complaining. I throw out all these words because there's a thin line between complaining and uh, pointing out what's wrong. There's a thin line between saying who's responsible and then just blaming somebody or taking responsibility or just putting the blame on yourself. With every understanding, there's got to be understanding. And all you're getting, get understanding. And in the light of the state of the world and what happened to, I don't even like saying his name because I believe that's giving creed and energy to something. We're just going to say CK. From CK being shot and the uprise of bootlicking Negroes and self-hating Negroes and racist white people. There's something that I've been hearing. People saying accountability. And a lot of Negroes that I consider are bootlickers and brainwashed. They love to say, I love my black community. I love my black people. I don't hate them. I'm not trying to bring them down. I just want to hold us accountable. Somebody got to hold us accountable. And there's a video that I was going to play. I said, nah, I'm just going to come over here and freestyle and, and speak my opinion and vent. But this video, this black man was saying that who can hold a black community accountable? He was like, we got issues and problems, and you know, when people say anything about it, you know, we get called Uncle Toms and all types of names and say that we hating on black people and the man made a statement. He said, if I tell black women, if black women come out and tell other black women to change their behavior and you know be respectable to black men, you have a whole bunch of black women coming out and calling her a pick me, saying, "Oh, you just a pick me." Or if a man do it, they'll say, "Oh, you hate black women." You know, so forth and so forth. And he was like, and if white people come out and say something about the crimes and stuff we do, we call them racist. It's like, so who can hold us accountable? If we or no other race can't do it, then how can we be held accountable? And you had a whole bunch of black people. Of course, you had some white people in there, but you had a whole bunch of black people in the video saying, "That's right. Nobody can hold us accountable." You right. We this way, we that way. And I found it funny that these was black people saying this, saying that nobody can hold us accountable. So when they say us, are they including themselves in us? Are they saying that because it seems that they want to be held accountable and they believe that we should hold the black community accountable and they are black, but then in the same breath they say black people speaking in generalization like, yeah, this is how all black people are. They don't want to hold us accountable, but can't see that this is a black man making this video talking about holding black people accountable, and they are responding as black people saying that we need to be held accountable. So it's not all black people. So once again, this is talking in generalization, and it counts out each other because if you're a black man saying this, then are you talking about yourself, or if you're a black woman? Now I see where the young black man was coming from. So with everything, we got to get understanding. Well, first, let's talk about who can check or call out the black community and hold the black community responsible. A white person, a white man, a white lady, a Chinese man, a Chinese, anybody from any other group. No. And especially no if you're not calling out the crime and what's wrong with your community. There's a wise old saying, clean up your house before you try to go to somebody else's house and clean it up. So I don't mind any person that's not a Negro talking about the issues that's going on in the Negro community or in our culture, or whatever you want to call it. As long as they got a long history and videos of them calling out their own people, them talk about how white men are the leading suspect in mass shooting and DV beating up on their wives and divorcing their wives. They are more likely to leave a broken home. Uh, they don't talk about the statistics of the pedophiles are mostly white men, those that kidnap and molest children. And those are statistics that can't be just written off or uncounted for like the statistics they say about us, you know, is usually inaccurate. Especially that 1350, we done debunked that and proved that wrong 100 times. So if another race meet those criteria, I don't mind him pointing out what's going on in our community, but he gotta do it for his community and all the other communities first. Clean up your house first. Second, if it's a self-hating Negro that don't like black people, and if your wife, your girlfriend, if you are a Negro man or a Negro woman, we are the Hebrews. If you're a Hebrew and you dating a Gentile, you dating, if you're a Hebrew black woman, you got a white husband or a white boyfriend or a Chinese husband or Chinese, so forth, you get the picture. Vice versa, if you are a Hebrew black man and you dating a heathen, you got a white woman, a Chinese woman, little mixed kids running around. No, you can't speak about our community because you love your community. You will procreate with your community. You will produce your community, and you would have married somebody in your community. That's the best way to benefit and help their community, not going outside of the community. Who else can or cannot speak about it? Well, you can't speak about it. So we got the self-hating Negroes out the way. We got the Negroes that dating outside their other race. No, you can't speak on us. Uh, you got the ones that the white folks that want to just talk about the black community, but don't talk about no other community, especially those community. No, clean up your house first. And also those who can hold us responsible or can't hold us responsible are those that are not doing anything. I repeat, anything to help the black community. No, we don't need for you to get on the internet to make views of talk about what's going on in the black community and you're not doing anything at all hands on to help the black community. You're not ministering to no young black man or young black woman. You're not. in any way donating or putting money back in the community. You're not talking to the youth. You're not doing nothing. We don't need for you to go on the internet and complain about what's going on in the black community when you're not helping. There's a saying also, if you're not going to do anything about it, then don't talk about it. Don't complain about it. You call it holding the black community responsible. I call it complaining because you're not doing anything to better or help the black community. Now, since we got out who can't uh, hold the black community responsible, let's talk about when you do. Let's talk about who can. So the opposite of what I just said, if you a black person that loves yourself, that love your community, that if you marry or have a girlfriend, it's a Hebrew, so it's of your own race, and that you actually doing something in the black community to make the black community better. It ain't got to be an organization of putting in a whole bunch of money. If you just going in the community and ministering, talking to your people, leading your people the right way, then I salute you, and I believe, and you can definitely hold the black community responsible. And of course, nobody like to hear that's gonna be pushed back. Nobody like to hear what they doing wrong, and we've been stuck like this for so long. So that's not an issue. That's not a problem. We're not worried about the pushback. We worry about the results. So the next question is how to hold the black community responsible. How do you do it? Are you just gonna blame black people, all black people, single mothers, and this and that? Or are you actually gonna have a solution? If you ain't got a solution, then don't talk about holding black community responsible. Not only if you ain't got a solution, but how you do it. Let's talk about how you hold us responsible. We already are oppressed people, or people that when it people like to bring up statistics, but they don't ever bring up the statistics about how our race is majority is below the we are we are poorer than any other nation in this country. That usually is single mothers working 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to pay bills but can't be home with their kids. It's men's working 2 or 3 guys along with their wife just to try to take their kids to a better school because the schools on our side of town, the government don't give much funding. And all these things. Oh, that's something that I forgot to add also. For those that not of our race that want to talk about holding the black community responsible, adding to first you gotta have a record and for a while hold your community and other communities responsible for what they do. Still just talking about what we doing wrong. You also got to bring up why the black community is in that predicament. Why there's so many broken homes. Don't shy away from Jim Crow, redlining, the making of the projects, the preschool to prison pipeline, the war on drugs, the stop and frisk, the percentage that uh, the majority of the cases that get, not to mention the 400 years of slavery, well, 250 years, but who counting? I think it was something like that. Uh, in the loans that was given, that was not given to Negroes to being have a better opportunity of jobs that was not given, even though we was qualified. The making of the project, and I can go on and on and on. See, if you're not gonna talk about the reason, the root of most of these problems, don't just come and try to say blame and say look at those people over there. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, uh, how to approach. You're not just gonna come on here and bash our people. See, that's what a lot of these people do. They talk about, well, we just holding you responsible. We want to see you do better. How you want to see us do better? All you doing is downgrading us and bashing us, and be like, look at these people. This is how they are. And no, that's not what you're gonna do. You're not gonna come on here and bash our community, bash our people. There's a way to correct somebody without bashing them. There's a way to hold a community responsible and not just throwing in our faces all the bad things we're doing. Most of these people just looking at videos of Negroes doing crazy, wicked, bad things. How that's holding us accountable and saying, see, look, that's what's wrong with us. But once again, don't have no solutions. That's not out there doing that for the community. And these same people that say, well, who's holding the black community responsible are the same people that's sitting on their butt and doing nothing. Because there's plenty of programs out here, boot the ground, that's trying to stop gang wars. There was not too long ago a thing in Chicago called Unity of a black man, a lot of black mans put together to bring peace in Chicago. There's a lot of marches going on in the hood, little organizations, but people wouldn't know about that. Why? Because the news don't talk about it. Nobody's shining a light on that. When crimes happen, something bad happen in our community, they shine light on that. But when good things happen, it's quiet. The news, they don't want to shine a light on that. So there's plenty of organizations and people out here that's trying to better our community. They're actually putting in the work. They're actually ministering to kids. They're trying to hold our community accountable. So don't act like nobody is doing it, because there's plenty of people are doing it. A lot of y'all just want to monetize our pain, get monetized, come up with a video and get paid because y'all know it's a good business, it's lucrative. Make like you care. That's the go-to thing to say. I just want to hold you responsible and care. No, there's a difference between holding responsible and blaming and pointing the fingers and downgrading, especially when you praise and don't do that to the other community. If you really hate crime, if you really hate evil and violence, we're not the only race doing it. Point out everything and hold everybody accountable. But if you love your people, of course, you're not going to call our women's bees and talk about, you know, certain things that ain't got nothing to do with behavior. Our women, they got style. They got spunk. They gonna move their head when they talk. They got attitude. They got swag. That's why most women try to copy them. That's not something to downgrade or talk bad at them about. So a lot of these dudes, they bring up little videos like this and call women out their name and say they unintelligent and they act childish, all because certain little things about how they talk, or because they talk with their neck and they move and they smack their lips or whatever. They ain't got nothing to do with behavior. Saying, oh, this ghetto and that's ghetto. That's nothing wrong with being ghetto. Ghetto is a good thing. I'm gonna talk about that later. How they made the word ghetto a bad thing. But nevertheless, about young men's been sagging their pants now. These dudes that be having their pants down to their thighs and falling off, yeah. But there's a way to talk to them. Tell them, hey, You can sag, but don't sag that much. So when you approach our community, approach it with love, with respect. You can correct somebody with love. You can hold somebody accountable, but do it with wisdom and love. Since all y'all, most y'all claim y'all love God and y'all Christians, but y'all want to talk so bad about my people. But this is prophesied, cause y'all despise the Most High chosen, and that's just the truth. So yes, that's why you don't hear me coming on here. If I do come on here and I say something about my people, it's out of love, it's out of respect. Whether somebody will agree with me or don't, uh, my somebody of my nation or Hebrew agree with me or don't like what I say or whatever, they gonna understand that it's done out of love, and I'm not gonna beat my people down. And I'm definitely, when I'm talking about holding my community responsible, it's way more than me coming on the internet talking about the bad that we doing. It's me going out there ministering to the youth, putting out videos that's really gonna help our people instead of bring our people down low and pointing out the worst that's in our people and in the community. Because we all know that's not all of us. Yeah, there's bad apples and ignorant in every race. But our people are the most loving, spiritual, uh, inviting people on the earth, most accepted on the earth. But nevertheless, this is my little rant. This is my video of who can hold us responsible. My bad. Who can hold the black community accountable, and how we should hold the black community accountable. There's a time, there's a way, and a place to do everything. But at the end of the day, let Yah be true and every man a lie. Till next time, Shalom.